All right. Hello, everyone. This is the Navigating Baby Loss podcast. I'm Jennifer Sen, your host, and I am so excited to welcome Carolina Sotomayor, right? Did I say it
Yeah, Carolina Sotomayor. Yeah. Or
Sotomayor.
if you're in the Midwest or don't roll your R's, you can call me Carolina too. Both ways.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. So she is a Reiki master and a womb healer.
Yeah.
So I thought she would be perfect for us to talk to today to find out exactly what she does. How does she work with people and how is she helping women who are dealing with loss? So welcome, Carolina. I am so happy to have you here.
Oh, I'm so grateful for
And
you. I love our connection. Um,
me too. Yes.
I uh I'm so grateful to be here and just be able to talk to your listeners and share a little bit about what Reiki is and how it can help, and how I've applied it to fertility, pregnancy, birth, postpartum, but also along with losses along that journey. So a little bit of what Reiki is. It originated in Japan over 100 years ago. It is a form of energy healing, and it's probably the most popular, dare I say, mainstream form of energy healing. It's becoming more of a phenomenon or a sensation on different social media platforms, especially TikTok. I have been doing Reiki for 5 years, and there are different lineages of Reiki, meaning like different lines, where it originated from. So Reiki is taught and given to other people through certifications. And then the person is what we call attuned. So attuned means that the energy is basically inputted into them and it permanently raises their vibration. There's several different levels of Reiki. Um, Level 1 is self Reiki. Level 2 is where you can give distance Reiki, and then you have the ability to give Reiki to others. Reiki 3 is Reiki Master. In some lineages, there's a level 4, which is also can help like reprogram DNA and help break generational trauma, that kind of thing. I'm attuned to 4 different lineages. I am I don't like to say perfectionist. I'm definitely not a perfectionist, but I'm all in. Usually if I like something, I'm the type of personality. I'm like, all right, we're doing this the whole way. So I got attuned when I was 6 months postpartum with my son. And I needed a way that I could continue healing myself. And I had received Reiki be at a recommendation of a local psychic, actually, after a horse riding accident, and my concussion wasn't healing. It was consequently also the same time that we were trying to conceive. And it wasn't happening. And I'd spent my whole life trying not to get pregnant. And here we are. We were newlyweds still, a little, let's say like a year and a half into our marriage. And we were ready to start our family, but it wasn't happening. And we had tried for months and it wasn't happening. And I was working a lot of hours in my career. I had fallen off my horse into a ditch. And if I had not been wearing my helmet, they said I probably would have died. So it was like just a really bad, he went right, I went left because there was a gunshot. And I live in Nebraska. We were riding in early
Gosh.
February and it was hunting season on a Saturday.
Oh,
So it was pretty gnarly. That resulted in actually being the best thing that could have happened to me during that time. It was very deep in my spiritual awakening. And this was all way before it was popular or acceptable. This is
yeah.
2016. So this is way a long time ago. And I went to the psychic shop and my husband drove me because I couldn't drive. I couldn't be on my phone. And I was like, this concussion is not, my memory's not coming back. I'm not passing, like the doctor would say, can you repeat these numbers backwards in a series? And I couldn't do it. I was like, give me all the crystals like you can already healed this concussion. I was so ready to go back to work. I was so bored. I couldn't read. I couldn't do anything
Yeah.
because they were afraid of, I don't remember technically what it meant, but they were afraid what would happen if I was on my phone or if I watched TV after the concussion. And I don't remember technically why, but it was really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the lady goes, you don't need for your concussion, your sacral plexus and your throat chakra is blocked. And here in Omaha, her name is Psychic Kelly Miller, and she's very well renowned. She owns a psychic store. She's much bigger now than she was then. She was actually in a small shop next to the butcher in this small little plaza. Now she's a really great big store. It's beautiful. And I've always been a huge fan of her. She says, you need Reiki. I was also in grief therapy at the time because I had lost my dad in 2014 and it was still very heavy for me. The therapist said, you should be probably further along in your grief. You should probably take medication or you should try Reiki. The two were not connected.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I said, okay, I trusted my therapist a little bit more than the psychic at that time. And she said, here is a reputable, holistic, kind of like there was a TV show. It was all these different modalities in one building. So they had traditional doctors, functional medicine doctors, occupational therapists, acupuncturists, Chinese medicine, all in one place. So it was a very holistic type of place. And they had a Reiki master there that specialized in trauma massages. So you could get a Reiki massage.
Ooh.
So she's like, God knows you have trauma. So I went ahead and I scheduled an appointment, went the next week. I walked out of there like I was floating on a cloud. I had never experienced that. And during the session, I sobbed. Like I had sobbed and I had cried and I had grieved, but it was like I cried so that I could breathe again. And in that lady held space for me in ways that I had never had someone care for me. Everything I was doing in that session was right. There was no damnation. There was no condemning. There was no judging. There was no shifting of me being anything other than just to exist in that moment. And I had never experienced that before. I have had, like everyone else has had their stories, but I didn't know at that time after my dad had died that I was grieving a narcissistic father. I had grieved that there was a codependency that I was unlearning and that was breaking. I didn't know all the abuse I had endured. I did not have the knowledge to put the names to the labels of the things I was struggling with, even though I was in therapy. So I walked out of there. I could breathe for the first time since my dad had died. My dad at that point was my person. And for him grieving, I had no idea that grief was affecting my fertility. The loss of my dad was actually blocking me conceiving. The next month, I was testing positive. I conceived Ollie shortly after that session.
Oh my gosh.
So the horse accident forced me to slow down. The horse accident forced me to go to the psychic shop to realize what my chakras were, why they were important, and then to go get energy healing for it. That lady gave me Reiki my entire pregnancy and into my postpartum. And it was because of her Reiki and the talk therapy that I did that I was able to recover from my postpartum. So Reiki has served me in a way to allow me actually to get to know myself, to make trauma processing lighter. I have done EDMR. I have done hypnosis. I have done talk therapy. I have, even in my 20s, I had done, the antidepressants and the mood stabilizer, but it was so Reiki with the talk therapy at that time was able to allow me to move forward. I'm a very, I don't want to say aggressive person, but I like to get stuff done. I like to move forward. And so I was probably pretty aggressive in my grief at that point. I was tired of being tired, and I was tired of being sad. I was like, he's been dead almost 2 years. I can't breathe. I'm a newlywed. I'm fine. I'm ready to be happy again. So I think at that point when everything just collided, but I also believe that if you go, and you don't have a reprieve, you don't have time for true introspection and reflection of like what's going on and what you're feeling,
Mhm.
then either if you don't do it for yourself when you need it, then someone once told me, one of my best girlfriends, she's like, Carolina, you're gonna get God smacked one day. I said, what are you talking about? And she said, you're gonna get God smacked. And she goes, you work too much. You
Mm.
need to relax more. And I said, okay, whatever. I'm young. I'm building my corporate career. This is my dream. I have my dream job. I'm married. Everything, check, check, check,
Mhm.
check, check. I need to continue, check, check, check. My job was related to my identity was wrapped up in that corporate
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
So I believe that the horse accident, the horse fall, and the concussion was my
Yeah.
Godsmack. If it
Yeah.
had not been for that time period, I mean, I didn't work for 3 months. Uh, I was on short-term disability. I couldn't drive. I mean, I
Mhm.
couldn't. Um, that if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have conceived because I was
Mm.
so wrapped up in working and scheduling time to grieve. As my therapist said, you know, you need to put boundaries around your
Yeah.
grief. I wasn't really paying attention to who I was and start to unwind what my identity was and where was I going, and actually like heal and
Mm.
experience this thing. I don't know if I would have been so open if there wasn't such a deep desire to get better,
Yeah.
or a deep desire to heal. I basically would have, I basically told the Reiki master, I was like, I will make a deal with the devil to have a baby. I just
Yeah.
know that I was like, I need to do everything naturally because I knew for me that I wasn't going to do IVF. Either
Yeah.
we were going to have a baby naturally or I wasn't going to do any fertility treatments. I knew at that point my capacity for more, and it wasn't. I
Yeah.
couldn't take more. And to me, I related all of that in my research to more trauma. More pain is really what it came down to my brain. And I was
Mm.
like, I can't do more pain.
Mm-mm.
So I decided, and I had talked to my husband, I was like, either we have a baby naturally or I'm not going to have a baby at all. And I said, and then we'll just deal with
Whatever it
what that looks
is.
like. But luckily we got pregnant after a month. The very next month we were testing
Mm.
positive. So that was March. In April, we had a positive pregnancy test,
Aw.
and it was wild.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
bet.
how I started with Reiki, and I continued to do it. And it was the
Oh
one
my
thing that like
gosh.
elevated my spirit and physically affected me. It would felt like waves of warmth. I felt like a big hug. I would also like when I was getting the Reiki massage, I would like, you know, like a normal massage, you lay down into the table. I would see colors
Mm.
that while she was working on me. And I was like, what do these colors mean? And this lady, God bless her, I am just the most curious cat. And I was just like, what does this mean? And she would just was so kind to answer every question and supernatural questions and spiritual questions. And she's like, it's okay, honey, you can be quiet. And I'm like, I'm so excited to be here. So
Right.
she went on to be my
Aw,
Reiki teacher,
I love that.
Reiki mentor, and just been a huge blessing in my journey. And she's amazing.
That's so, oh my gosh, there's so many things in your story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that when you said that Reiki creates a permanent vibration in you. That's amazing
It is,
that
as a
you can
practitioner, you get
permanently
permanently,
raise.
even if you don't practice it or you stop practicing it for years to come, it will permanently, because there are symbols that are inputted into your being, and those symbols have different purposes. Um, Based upon the what I've been taught, I have a more traditional training than more of the online courses. I've done all of my training, most of 3/4 of my training, like all up front, has been in person before the pandemic. So, and those courses are usually 8 to 10 hours a day.
Wow.
So it's a lot of hours. So every level has symbols that are inputted into your energy, into your body. And those symbols each serve a purpose and give you different abilities within Reiki. So Reiki 1, you're just getting attuned to having the energy come from the palms of your hands. Reiki 2 allows you to have a symbol that allows you to give distance Reiki, but with that same symbol, you can send it past, present, and future. And Reiki Master gives you the ability to give attunements to other people. So, and just also an amplifier to use those previous symbols from the level 1 and 2. There's an amplifier symbol that says when you combine them, it's like a booster. So in Karuna Reiki, there's 8 more symbols that allow you to heal. There's like one for pain. So like you might, and at that level of Karuna, you can chant the symbols versus levels 1, 2, and 3. You're only allowed per tradition to speak of those symbols to other practitioners, other in your classes. You're not supposed to show them on your social media. So when I see other people, because you can draw them, you can say them, you can chant them in your head, and then you set the intention and move them. Reiki can be done in person or virtually. I do it virtually. For years, I operated at a chiropractor's office. So I did in-person Reiki for years out of a chiropractor's office. And it was so life-changing for me to have that access in that safe space, but also just this repetition of seeing so many women. I learned so much that everything for me went back to the womb space.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I don't know if you knew this about me, but I was a salon owner for 15 years. So I actually had a Reiki practitioner in my salon at one point. So I do know. So tell our listeners what they could expect if they are interested in Reiki, and how in person does it go versus your online.
Well, I think every practitioner is a little bit different, depending on what their lineage, how they were taught, what's important to them. For me, if I were to go look for a Reiki practitioner, I think that that's the best way to approach the question is, I want to make sure I feel safe with that person, or they were personal referral where a friend has gone to them already. Having someone work on your energy is probably more intimate than having someone do your taxes, because typically a Reiki practitioner at the very beginning will at least be able to read what we call chakras. Chakras are the energy centers. 6 of them sit on your spine. The last one sits at the top of your head. You want all of your chakras to be open and flowing. If they're blocked, that means there's an imbalance. It could be partially blocked. It could be fully blocked, meaning like it's not spinning, it's not open. But that also means there's a blockage there. So like, what is that? So if you don't want somebody all up in if you don't want that particular person up in your cheese, don't do a Reiki session with them, because what's going to come in with them is going to be very revealing. Like root chakra, do they have problems with money? And if it's left or right side, like is left side your feminine side, your right side's your masculine. So that's going to be also very, very telling. Some people do oracle cards. Some people do like I do oracle cards. Some people do tarot. Some people do none of that. Some people are able to channel. I'm a medium. Some people are able to do spirit animals. If a spirit comes to me or their spirit guides, then I will relay the message. If they don't, then they're not meant to have the message, and that's okay. They're just not ready, or there was nothing to say. Nothing is, so just overall, you could expect to get a chakra balancing, to feel more grounded. They should always communicate what they're doing. They should also you should set the intention of the session. They should ask you that. Also, they should be empowering you and giving you a little bit of coaching. Not everyone's a coach, but I feel like ethically, you're not supposed to stay with a Reiki master forever, just like a therapist. 2 are not the same. They're very different. Therapists have their role, and I deeply respect them, but you shouldn't stay with someone forever. They should be empowering you to continue to explore or have moments of healing and growth outside the session or in between sessions. If there's like maybe a treatment plan that they're following, like, okay, so we have this chakra that's imbalanced, this one and this one. So maybe we'll see each other for 3 sessions to get you realigned, and then let's assess where we go from there. There should be a teaching element to it, not teaching you Reiki, but And you should be teaching Reiki in like an hour or 90-minute session. It should be taking much longer than that, but there should be some element of empowerment where you're going to continue and have steps given to you after the session.
Okay.
If it's in person, it always has to be done fully clothed, unless the person is a licensed massage therapist, and then the services that you provided have been determined prior. It's very important for safe, is that all of your clothes should be on the entire time. Reiki is not something that has to be licensed in every state. So they could be certified through the governing organization of the International Center of Reiki Training, or they could be certified through Karen, who did an Office Depot certification, and that's fine too, but it's not terribly regulated. Versus like it states like Florida, if you touch someone, you have to have a license to touch, like massage therapy, physical therapy, things like that. So depending on your state, look up what your regulations are. That's super important. I'm more for standardized certifications versus so that there's a set code of ethics and conduct that is expected in a session. That's just kind of more where I lie. But as to other elements other practitioners might add in is aromatherapy, like essential oils, meaning like in the air, or they might have like a sleep mask that you might have to focus. They might use crystals, they might use sound bowls. Some people just do straight up Reiki. Some people might have other add-ons that you could to do, just depending if like, again, a lot of salons will add on
research.
Like, it just really is specific to practitioners. There's a really great salon here that is like a full service hair salon, but they also have massage therapists. There are also Reiki practitioners. So there's a lot more. Or if you're an esthetician, like where you're doing skincare and Reiki, I've seen that too here in Omaha, where the Reiki is the add-on, it's not the main service. So there's a lot of things
so
that
it
you
sounds it sounds like too, if you know, if you're having trouble processing your grief, expressing your grief, it
depends on the intention that you're wanting to get. So like if you're coming into like if you're going in for a relaxing time because it's like a restorative moment and it's a maintenance appointment, as I like to call it, like hair, skin, that kind of thing, then I feel like, you know, set your intention for what you're wanting out of the session. If you're wanting to do grief, and especially if you're processing a loss, you actually might want to find someone that's maybe specializes in grief. Like when I first started, I specialized in grief. I've had a lot of people pass, and I physically watched them pass. And then I got really deep in my grief journey. I was like, well, I could hold space for grief because I have done this for so long. So that was one of the things that I felt like I held space well for. Not every Reiki practitioner will niche themselves.
Right. So in relation to your womb healing, where's the connection with Reiki and your womb healing then?
So the quick answer is every session that I did up to when I stopped doing in person, everything went back to the womb. Everything to the sacral plexus chakra. And that's your entire pelvis. And that's where basically your sense of self, your creativity, your pleasure, your connection to your soul, and also like your emotional center was. And a lot of this was blocked. It was like trapped, or even like in some cases, like there was an armor around it. And at that point, I had started to see babies, and my mediumship had gotten really strong. And I was like, okay, there's a connection. Like, why is this always going back to the womb? Like I would spend so much time there. And so I took actually a childbirth with Reiki certification out in Seattle. And what year was that? I think 2018, maybe. I think it was 2018. And I learned a lot about sexual processing and birth trauma reprocessing. And I learned a lot about further Reiki to serve the womb and for childbirth And then also there was a piece in there about miscarriage and how to help the women. So it was like, I noticed all this pattern, and then
Yeah.
I did that certification, and then I sat with it. I was like, oh, okay. So everything I'm doing is, and basically
Goes back to it.
I was
Yeah.
like, I guess I'm just a womb healer. And I played around
Yeah.
with that word, and I felt like that fits uh, for a long
Love it.
time. And then since then, I found a few other womb healers, because
Yeah.
some of them are specialized in pleasure or reclaiming your power. For me, though, is motherhood was so new and
Mm,
so important. I have never personally suffered a loss,
mm,
uh, but I have held space for a lot of women who have.
mhm,
And the Reiki allows them to remove a lot of heavy emotion like shame, blame, guilt,
mm,
fear. And all of that is could stem from the loss, could stem from from our podcast. Your main thing that I loved was fear of moving forward. But also like there's so much heaviness that if they're wanting to conceive again, they usually come to me because they're wanting to try it again.
okay.
And they're either slightly spiritual, or they feel like their energy is off, or some women say out of alignment, or they feel so heavy no matter what they have done, they have tried, and they're like, you're my last resort.
Yeah.
And we do a womb clearing, and then we'll do
Mm,
a womb blessing. They're not the same. A womb clearing is the actual physiological removal with Reiki, and there's different symbols you can do. And my gift is I'm able to see inside somebody's womb. I can see where the blockages are. So I can see where the stuck emotion is. Is it behind the uterus? Is it by the kidneys? Is it the pelvic floor? Is it behind? Do I see a mass? So some people call themselves medical intuitives. I don't know if I would be there enough to say that for myself, because I can't really do it anywhere else on the body. I can only do it for the womb. And it comes and goes. I mean, it's usually, I've only had a few appointments where it wouldn't, that ability wouldn't come forth.
mhm,
But combined with, we do an oracle card reading with specific questions. If there was a baby that was lost or multiple babies, we can get a lot of information that's really important to mom, that's empowering for her to feel like she can move forward. Why did the baby come? Let's talk about soul contracts. What are soul contracts? What was the purpose between baby and the womb? Do they have any? Literally, some people are like, what? I'm like, what? Is there anything we need to know about the womb?
yeah.
And you'd be surprised by pulling cards and them actually showing
Mm,
up. We'll call in the person's ancestors, we'll call in the person's spirit guides, archangels, anything that's important to the client as well. I have had clients that believe in different things. I had one client believe in mermaids. I was like,
oh,
that's cool. That's cool.
okay.
Inviting the mermaids. So and we invite in the babies that we've
Yes.
lost, the babies that are coming, that are, and check to see the babies that are coming forward. The babies that are coming like next, I'm able to see based upon uh what my guides give me, their circles. So like if it's a solid circle, then it's a viable pregnancy that I
Mm,
found. If
interesting.
it's an outline circle, meaning it's just like a thick white line in an empty
Mhm,
center, then it's most likely not going to be a viable pregnancy.
mm,
So that is how, in those have not been wrong yet.
yeah,
However, they don't always present themselves.
yeah,
So I think that a misconception about mediums is that like they're fortune tellers, and that it is something that's always on. I got a DM from a past client, and she said, can you scan me and see if I'm pregnant? And I said, no, I cannot. I'm so sorry. If you would like to book a session, we can. And she goes, why can't you just tell me? I was like, because I'm not tapped into everyone all of the
right,
time. It's not
right.
ethical. And I said, can you imagine how dangerously tiring that would be? I'm not tapped into every single person. That is gross. Because I want my energy sovereign to me, just as, and I want to have privacy and respect for my own being as
Yeah.
for you. So it's just like having, like, can you imagine walking around with a microphone or being spied
No.
on the entire time? No, gross. So
No.
like, it's not ethical.
Yeah.
So I also careful of what I do and provide for services. I don't
Mhm.
do, I'm not going to tell you if you're pregnant. I usually wait, and baby will present themselves to me if we're working
Mhm.
in a container like my membership or in my group coaching program, or if we're doing one-on-one. Between the 6 and 8 week mark is when baby will say, okay, I'm here. And the womb is visibly occupied.
Okay.
Before then, sometimes I can tell, but in times I can tell, also life can change. Baby
Yeah.
can say, I don't know what that soul is going to do. Are they going to exit? Are they going to miscarry?
Yeah.
My job is to hold space, but also be very careful not to trigger or cause you more harm in your fertility
Yeah.
journey.
That's good to know.
So
That's
it's
good to
not
know because it's
always
so
going to be,
interesting. And I would
yeah,
love I love that the babies give you messages and
they
tell you
do.
their
Some of them told me
purpose. Like
that they've
that
had to
is
leave partners,
healing.
like, or they need to work on their marriage,
Mm,
like that they didn't feel safe.
yeah.
Or they, and those are very hard, tricky messages to deliver.
Yeah. Yeah.
I usually sugarcoat it and say, okay, so they want you to work on your connection with your partner.
Yeah.
Make sure you're aligned in this process, because
Sure.
some women want babies and their partners don't. Or what is it exactly that you need? Like, they might say this chakra needs work. Like maybe there's a deep self-loathing, or
Right.
um, just things like that. But that's never the cause of why somebody
Mhm.
miscarries. That's never
Yeah.
the cause. Why somebody miscarries is never the mom's fault ever.
Mhm.
What I want to hit home, if anyone listens to this and takes away, there's something called soul contracts. And soul contracts are agreements we make before coming into this lifetime. And we usually travel with the same group of 30 to 40 people that I have studied in my spiritual studies. And basically what happens is someone who's our mother could have been our sister in a past life, but also who is our baby in this life that we may have lost, doesn't mean that that's the only lifetime you've ever had with them. And
Mm,
they also may not come every lifetime. But whether they come and they're born and they live to 89 or 100 years old, or their life is 3 weeks in your womb, every single person that exists in and out of the womb, so no matter what time length, has a soul purpose for this lifetime. And this lifetime is, 1 second, my computer's gonna die. So inopportune, I was so in the flow. So every soul has a purpose, and every soul has also a time frame, and also every soul has potential exits within their lifetime that they could leave.
mhm.
Now, if the soul decides to leave and is predestined to leave within the womb, there will be nothing that we can do to make them stick.
Yeah.
So if the baby, and that goes for abortions and miscarriages and all of that. So that is the more spiritual reasoning behind miscarriage and that kind of thing. It's already been agreed upon before they
Mhm.
came and they chose you. I think in what I have done, I have a session that's called Spirit Baby Messages. Has been very insightful for mothers who are grieving so hard, or just grieving in general. But why? The question of why did this happen? Why did this happen to
Mhm.
my baby? And everyone's fertility journey is so different. But for, especially with the moms that have multiple rounds of IVF, IUI, and
Yeah.
physically hard on their bodies, just so much effort. Why did this happen to me? And providing just general information by pulling cards and channeling could really give them what they need to move forward in grief, and actually able to take, the big thing for me is, can they breathe again? Because with
Yes.
grief, you seem to stop breathing the same
Oh,
way.
Yeah,
And
I do.
that is like, so no matter what your grief is, whether it's a baby or a parent, a friend, a lover, the way you breathe is so deeply connected.
Mm,
And I just remember that being like
mm,
wild to me, is that after I got also the lady who recommended me to get Reiki, she also did some channeling for me after my dad passed. And it was instrumental in
mm.
actually me being able to be functional.
Yeah.
And so with grief, having answers, which you rarely ever get after someone dies, is a real gift.
Oh, it's everything. I think that's so much of, once you get through the shock of the loss,
Right.
then you start, because we're human. We want
Right.
answers. We want to know why, we want a reason. And so being able to hear that from your baby, hearing
From
the
your
reason
baby.
would be so incredibly healing. So I
Sometimes they
love
let us
that.
know when they're going to come back, if they're going to come back.
Mhm.
Um, sometimes they'll give us specific details that are very, I believe in evidential mediumship, and that's where you
Mhm.
provide evidence or validation, like small truths or gifts. Then that's how I communicate. Like I ask the guides to give me like specific things. There's like, okay, I don't know what this means, but this is, and usually the messages come in fragments,
Yeah.
but combined with cards, it allows the message to be a full thought. Sometimes it's just like, hey, a grandma, I feel like grandma energy that's holding the baby.
Mm.
And I was like, but she's wearing like this blue polka dotted dress. Does this mean anything for you? Or she's showing me a lot of sunflowers. Oh, that's my Grammy Abby. She loves
Mhm.
sunflowers. So like there's just certain things that
Yeah.
also, if you're looking for a medium for this purpose,
Yeah.
make sure they're evidence-based medium. There
Okay.
is a difference versus, fortune, 1-800 fortune teller.
Right.
There's a
Right.
lot of scammers out there, especially on
Yeah.
the tiki-talkie.
Yeah. Right. For sure. Oh, well, I loved this conversation, Carolina. I can't believe our time went so fast, but I learned so much from you. And I'm so thankful for the work that you're doing, helping women through all of the things that women go through, and especially related to womb care, womb healing,
It's so important.
infertility. It's just amazing. So why don't you tell everybody how they can find you? I'd love to hear more about your membership.
Sure. So you can find me on all major platforms, thecarolinasotomayor.com. It's TheCarolna. I can't even spell my name. Anyway, we can cut that part out.
I
Uh,
will yeah, I will link it all in the show notes.
Great.
Yeah.
My membership is called the Fertility Foundations Collective. It's a vault of Reiki videos, Reiki meditations, all specific for fertility and pregnancy. And we have 4 circles a month: full moon, new moon, pregnancy circle, and a master class teaching all things spiritual. And we have a really amazing community. It's all online. So if you need access to me, you can find me at carolinasotomayor.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And will you come back another time?
Of course, whenever you like,
Awesome.
I'll be there.
All right. Thanks, Carolina. We'll
Thank you
see
so
you.
much. Bye.
All right.